shake that thing someplace else. I'm just here for the burger and the fight.
You girls are not nearly hot enough to pull off this kind of bullshit.
You should apologize.
Rule 1, Lisa, no drama.
You really want me to tell a bunch of 20-year-old girls no drama?
You really think that helping someone means you get to tell them how to live their life?
I started this day off crying, so if you ask me, laughing is progress.
It makes such a difference when your boss really cares about you.
Lisa! Feel the sisterhood growing stronger.
Hi there, how are you? Welcome to The Flick. I'm Christy, and that is Alonso, and that is Matt. We all saw a great little indie called Support the Girls, and Matt is going to tell you about it.
Yeah, Support the Girls stars Regina Hall as the general manager of a restaurant called the Double Whammy. It's kind of a local version of something like Hooters. It is an all-female wait staff. They wear skimpy outfits, and you know, it's kind of a day in the life. Things go right, things go wrong. There's a lot of drama with the younger women that are working there, and shenanigans ensue.
Yeah, the restaurant could be called Shenanigans.
You
know,
but Super Troopers took that one.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, I'm not even sure it's Hooters. I mean, they're in these itty bitty skimpy outfits, but it's even more benign than that. It's like a Bennigan's or like a TGI Friday.
But here's the thing,
but
have you been to a Hooters lately? Because I mean,
I
it is.
haven't, Alonso.
Have
look, you?
Yes, actually, because here's the funny story.
There are better wings than that.
Hooters opened up an establishment in the lobby of the building on Hollywood Boulevard when I worked at the Advocate.
Okay.
So once a week on Tuesday was double punch card day. Tuesday, me and a gaggle of other gay men would go eat at Hooters.
And by double punch card.
And the waitresses loved us because we made eye contact and we talked about their thesis or their auditions or whatever it was they were actually doing. Anyway.
You were trying to grope them.
Totally, yeah. We would, if anything, objectify like, you know, the assistant manager or something, just for parody's sake. Anyway, Hooters is very much a PG version of what you're thinking it is, because it's like suntan hose and gym shorts and, you know, tight white tank tops. And so these places all sort of traffic in this like almost kind of but not quite sort of female objectification. And they talk about it in the movie how it's basically like they are there to sort of make men feel tended to.
Right.
You know, they have a certain amount of time they're supposed to spend at each table. You know, they talk to the guys. So it's very much a like, it's like if you take all the sex out of a lap dance and just make it about I'm talking to you and we're making eye contact and it's as though I genuinely care about you.
I'm laughing
you
at your
know.
jokes. One of the best sight gags from Haley Lou Richardson, who is incredibly versatile. She's charming, but she talks about how she laughs and she opens her mouth real big when she laughs like this.
And she says that as they're training to do it. She says, when you laugh, open your mouth real big, it's better for the customers.
Yes.
And she's really funny in it.
I love this movie. I love the idea of a Hooters type establishment and you don't have to read the movie this way, and it's not like that's all that it's about, but I sort of saw it as this kind of microcosm of just the world and what women have to do to survive in a world where they're constantly having to like accommodate, you know, men's feelings and men's, you know, egos and inadequacies and whatever. As my niece learned in gender studies, and she always likes to tell me, the emotional labor of women. That's what this movie is about. It's also about Regina Hall, who is great and never gets to be in the lead role, and so she is the star of this thing, and she's dynamite.
One thing I love about Regina Hall's performance is that it's so perfectly calibrated, regardless, depending on the situation she is in, because she has to figure out which version of herself she needs to be in each moment with each person to either get what she wants from them or just like diffuse the tension of the situation, whether it's a customer or whether it's like the cable's gone out because there's been some sort of mishap, or it's her husband who, you know, she's having trouble with, or
the guy who owns the place, who's played by James LeGros.
Yeah, I mean, every single situation, like, and we know she's had a bad day from the beginning. It all takes place over the course of a day. We know she's had a bad day from the beginning because we see her crying in her car in the parking lot. And that sets the tone from the beginning, and it has this incredibly rich sense of place, like for a place that is nondescript suburban sprawl of Texas.
Yeah, it's a Houston strip mall.
It's supposed to be outside of Houston somewhere. I think they shot it in Austin.
Okay.
But it's like, it could be anywhere, like one of those chain restaurants you see along the highway, but they're not the chain, they're the local place that really knows their people. Yeah, I love the fact that this is from Andrew Bujalski, who he's written and directed, I hate the word mumblecore.
They hate it too, but that's the movement he came out of.
That's his
so
Mark
deal with
Duplass and Greta Gerwig, they're no longer mumblecore, and neither is he, but he's taking those same structural and thematic and artistic instincts, right? And in the intimacy of this is a small story, but it's about so much more.
Yeah.
It is about, as you say, it's about everything, and it's a shaggy hang, but there's like a primal scream within it that's like bursting to come out. And I was blown away by the way it keeps changing.
Again, y'all make me watch trailers. I don't like to watch trailers.
Yeah.
The trailer for this movie sets it up as like, oh, this wacky day in the life, and at this nutty place where they work, and the women,
It's
and
not.
and it is an Andrew Bujalski movie. You have to sort of kind of get attuned to there's going to be like long takes of characters' faces, and there's going to be sort of quiet moments where maybe what's being talked about isn't what the conversation is really about, but if you're paying attention, you see what's between the lines and what's under the surface. And so once I sort of got into those rhythms and realized this wasn't just going to be like nutty workplace farce, I really love this movie.
You don't love those like we do, it sounds like.
Not quite.
Yeah.
I think it's a little thin for me in places. Like I was expecting a little bit more, I think, than I got, and maybe that's a measure of the trailer. I don't know. There's a lot that I like here, and it makes me think of the way I had a teacher in high school describe Chekhov, and that like everybody gets a little moment, and that kind of happens in this. Is that you get fun, almost everybody gets at least one or two really good scenes. I think the movie is almost stolen by Shana McHale.
Shana McHale is great.
God.
It's her first film ever.
Her first film. She's also known under her rap pseudonym Jungle Pussy. She's hilarious in this. Not just hilarious, she's really, really good.
Yeah.
I really liked her in this.
Dylan Galula from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
She's the sort of the new inappropriate hire.
Yeah, I liked this. I think I kept expecting a little bit more maybe plot, and I guess that's not, I don't know, and I didn't really particularly care for the ending. I didn't care for
Love the ending.
Oh,
I was blown away by the ending, and it stuck with me like emotionally afterward for a long time.
I kept expecting a little more, but that being said, I really did like it. It's got a very kind of wry, affectionate sense of humor, and I found myself laughing at the stuff kind of in recognition rather than laughing at them. And I found that this movie, to me, actually goes in a headspace similar to, say, American Honey or even the Florida Project. In like especially when Shana McHale says, "Look, there's plenty of crappy jobs out there. Like we can always find another crappy job."
No, just they're surviving.
And they're just surviving, and it's just this day-to-day kind of just making it like this is what we got and this is what we're gonna do. And I thought that was really kind of awesome because this is not something you normally get that glimpse of without it turning into this big farce.
Right, and I also like the fact that it's kind of a character study of Regina Hall's character, but it's not, she has flaws. She makes mistakes, and we're still on her side. But it's not like, oh, she's so great, then having to deal with this sort of, orbit of crazy people around her. It's like, no, she actually is, like, her marriage is falling apart, and she's not entirely blameless in that. And we see what that's about in terms of how she interacts with, how she takes care of her girls, and how she, like you said, sort of smooth things over and tries to manipulate people and stuff. And so I like a character study where it's not just a perfect saint. Like she's got flaws too, but we still adore her and we want her to make it through.
Yeah, it's a celebration of sisterhood in a way that sounds cheesy as the words leave my mouth, but this movie is so understated that theme sneaks up on you in ways that are like quietly powerful, and yeah, they do all look out for each other, and these women are all well drawn. As you say, they all do get a moment, and yeah, she looks out for all of them. And there's only one reason I don't completely give this movie like 4 stars or a 10 or whatever. There's one little subplot that I don't know adds up. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
The customer that's most likely to defend the waitresses from the other jerk customers is the butch lesbian played by Leah Deliria.
Yeah, no, she's funny, and it's subtle and it builds, and yeah, there's not much plot, and you don't really know where it's going, but the cumulative effect of it all is surprisingly quite powerful and quite moving, and yeah, I love the ending, and I want to go out and do what the ending does. That's what Katie Walsh and I talked about going out and doing what they do at the ending of the movie afterward.
That's not the part that I had the issue with.
The absolute ending?
Yeah. That's what
the last moment?
Yeah.
I love the last moment.
I
want to go do that right now. And you'll see what we're talking about when you see it, which you should.
We'll talk.
Okay,
right.
let's.
What are your numbers? I'm saying 8.8. I really love this. It seems like an understated nothing of a movie, but there's so much going on here, so go find it.
Yeah, 8.3, and I suspect that I'm gonna watch this again before the end of the year and probably like it even more.
Okay.
That'll probably be the case with me, but at the moment I'm only giving it a 7.
Okay, our number is an 8. It's 87% on the tomato meter, so go find it and support the girls. Bye.
Never miss another What the Flick video. All you have to do is ring the bell below. You know, that little bell. I heard you were afraid to ring the bell. I dare you to ring the bell. Anyway, if you ring the bell, you'll get notified whenever we publish something new. And don't forget, you can join TYT and download the TYT Plus app today. Download our TYT Plus app on your phone or head over to tyt.com/join.